Women don't want men. I've said this before. There's three genders: high status men, women, and low status men. Women don't want men who want them, and that's where I delineate this, because it's really hard for guys. This is when I get guys who come from hardcore pickup and they come into my program. One of the first things I have to deprogram from them is the idea of showing intent when you meet a girl, or showing intent to a woman who did nothing to earn it.
Right.
And then this concept is explains it perfectly. Women don't want men who want them.
Right. Women, because here's the thing, as soon as you want her, and this is where I'm going to go into internal high value versus external, and materialistic external high status versus internal. The second you want her, hypergamy is not satisfied because you are not demonstrating the discrepancy in SMV. The discrepancy in sexual market value is now not there once you want her. So this is where, with like my students too, who I've mentored over the years, a lot of them I found, once I was finally able to put like terms around this shit, I finally watched them have like more clicking aha moments. They're like, okay, now I get it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've never been a guy where I do good with just the surface level of like, you have a statement, right? Women don't want men who want them. Well, then it's like, well, why? And then for me, I kept digging deeper and deeper, and it's like, okay, in my opinion, this is the reasons. It doesn't satisfy hypergamy because now there's no discrepancy in SMV. So it's going to be pretty hard pressed to change my beliefs on that, because that's like the entire premise of my thing. Mm-hmm. So what I tell guys too is, they say, well, when is it my job to demonstrate the discrepancy? Your job to demonstrate the discrepancy in SMV is at every single point of the interaction for your entire life until you are in the grave. Because even if you're married to that girl, her perspective and her perception of you can change second for second, minute by minute, hour for hour. So just because you're a 10 in her eyes today, you could be a 6.5 tomorrow, and then her ass is gone because she doesn't want you anymore. So every text message you send, or this is how I look at it, every text message I send, before I hit the send button, I'm going to say, is this satisfying hypergamy, and am I showing the discrepancy? Every phone call that I have, I say, is this doing the discrepancy in SMV? Even, you know, it's a lot of things. If I hold her hand as we're walking for 2 seconds, is that going to be too much of an interest test that I just failed, where now I'm going to get a pullback? So when you start to see this for what it is, I personally have even wiped the analogy or the belief. I don't call them shit tests. I don't call them compliance tests. I call them interest tests. At every point in the interaction, I believe, and see, like, that's the thing with this. I don't know if I'm right. This is
that makes sense.
My 10 years of training from ages 18, starting with bodybuilding and getting my fitness right and my life on point, and like, these are my terms. So I don't know if I'm right or wrong. This is just how I do it. I don't call them compliance tests. I don't call them interest tests. Or excuse me, I don't call them shit tests. I don't call them compliance tests. I call them interest tests, because I believe at every point of the interaction, all she's doing is testing your interest level, because your interest level dictates if hypergamy is satisfied, because that will prove to her if you're showing the discrepancy in SMV or not.
Yeah.
So now what I do is, like, if I have a girlfriend and she leaves my house, why do I not give her a hug goodbye? Because I'm not going to run the risk of not satisfying hypergamy. So even though I'd love to give her a hug goodbye and be like, hey, great to see you, can't wait to see you tomorrow, or whatever the fuck, I'm not going to do it. So this is what I'm telling guys, patience. You need patience to have this stick through, to let the time duration play out with the girl so she can build feelings towards you. And then you need to be stronger than your emotions and have that stoic belief, just like you were saying, stoicism. So even though I would love to engage in my emotions and be a human and say, God, I love you so much, you just have to use logic and objective, rational truth over that. And you say, okay, if I do X input, I'm going to get Y output, which is negative. If I hold her hand as we're on this walk together in the park, I'm going to get interest tested harder, and now she's not going to like me, so I'm just not going to do it. I don't even like to kiss girls anymore. When you're younger, you hear all your guys in high school, you're patted on the back if you had the balls to make a move. As I get older, my move is not making a move, because I have emotional willpower and control to not give in to the lustful tendencies. The more I start kissing her and making out with her, the more she looks at me and goes, gotcha, motherfucker, you like me.
Yeah.
And the more she knows I like her, the more she doesn't like me.
It's validated.
So yeah, not to ramble.
No, that's perfect.
If I'm going too much, but yeah, that's how I look at it.
What I was thinking while you're saying that is, there's going to be guys listening to this and they're like, man, that means I have to play this game every day. Mm-hmm. The answer is yes, you do. there's a reason 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women because you are either losing at the game or you stop playing the game. And the worst is the people who don't believe there is a game. There's like certain, I call them, blue pill content creators, or a lot of them are like really politically progressive that want to deny that anything we're saying is true.
Yeah.
And so what they want guys to do is not play this game at all. When women tell men, I always had this curious idea. I was like, why do women tell men to just be themselves? Like such horrible advice. And I'm like, why is it? And then I start to realize it's because they can figure out who the losers are quicker.
Right.
That's why they're doing
the
it.
more they can lead you astray and give you false advice, the more they can dictate who they're not going to sleep with or want to be with. So it's purely just to see if they can be Eve. This is what I tell guys. They're all Eve. Their words are designed to lead you astray in every way, shape, and form. And the more she says she wants one thing, the more she's going to do the opposite. So, I'm also of the belief, like, I don't think a man can, like, love a woman the way he thinks he can. And see, like, that's why I say a guy has to hit this from a lot of different angles. For me, what actually helped to get understandings of, like, masculinity and more, like, truth in how this works, for me, it was more of a religious or a biblical route, because how I look at it is the more I stay true to my love for my purpose, my creativity, the more as a man I seek that truth with God, and that's what I'm focused on loving, and that's what I'm focused on doing, the more she can love me. That is how I figured this out for myself. So I would just see, hey, the more I fall into this false narrative of what's been constructed around me, whether it be the lights, the camera, the music, the action telling me lust, 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 shake that ass, shake that ass, shake that ass, the more I'm becoming emasculated.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it's going to be, that's how I view this.
If you're a successful man, sick of lone wolfing it through life, and you want to build a high status social circle with successful guys like you and date incredible high quality women, well, that's what Men of Action is all about. We will help you forge alliances with power players, celebrate epic nights in luxurious locations like Monaco, and completely transform your dating life. You'll go from settling with scraps on dating apps to enjoying amazing dates with legitimate models. If this sounds interesting to you, click the first link in the description to get my free step-by-step guide on creating high-status social circles in any city.